I think some of us that were in on the beginnings in here got enthused very quickly about this particular project. Because as you envisioned what was going on and the need to expand the facility down here, and if we didn't expand it, we would certainly just kind of level out, and there's just a limited number of things you can do. Now we will have an unlimited number of things that will be able to be accomplished through this addition. But what I got excited about was the fact that Corpus Christi in particular, this area right in here, sure, we're a tourist site where we love to do our fishing and beaches and things of that nature and have a wonderful community, but we will now become the cultural center for all South Texas. No question in my mind about that. I mean, with this area and these activities in terms of the visual arts, we have a new performing arts center going out on our campus to anchor the kind of the other side of the community in there. A 1,500-seat concert hall under construction. It is for real as well. I think we can envision that Corpus Christi will be a place where quality of life means something. It is there. It's where these kind of activities are catalysts for other things that go on, and people want to go there because of the quality of our life and the quality of our living and the amenities that the community offers. So that's what kind of got me excited about this particular project. And it costs money. And we've had some people step up and really hang in there with us. We've had our ups and we've had some downs in there as we tried to figure out just where can we locate this, what is available in terms of the site and things of that nature, but we're full bore now. There's no question in my mind that this is a project that's nearing the completion as far as the dollars are concerned. We're halfway there, but I think we can see the road down the way. It's an $8.5 million project. It's not a small project. That includes some endowment money. But on the other hand, that we've raised over half of it, and essentially half of it, and there's certainly the high probability that the rest of it will be forthcoming in the next several months. So this is an exciting time, and we certainly appreciate all of the efforts and the show of support that folks throughout this community and region have for this particular project. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the mayor of Corpus Christi, Lloyd Neal, who's going to make a presentation to Ricardo Legorreta. And, you know, our mayor has been one that's been behind us on this all the way. He's always looking for the things that improve our community, the things that are lasting, the things that are of quality, and so on. And so, Lloyd, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mr. Mayor, and for your presentation. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it a lot.
Good morning. It's so good to see some of you not at a public hearing. Many of you I've seen a lot over the last 2 weeks, but I am delighted to be here today. Where'd Dr. Gonzalez go? I know Arnold, joined this morning by a former member of our city council, Dr. Arnold Gonzalez. Arnold, it's always good to see you. A real patron of the arts, an artist himself, and a real champion of this organization while he was on your city council. Would you join me, sir, for just a moment here? Over the years, we have been blessed to have wonderful people come and leave a part of themselves in this community. And today we are moving forward with a project that is going to leave a part of you in this community in the future. And I'm glad today, on behalf of our city council and as a member of this institution and a former chairman of this institution, to take the opportunity to present you with the key to the city of Corpus Christi. I hope that as you look at this and as we develop this dream and as this becomes a reality, you will think often of the times that you were in Corpus Christi, the contribution you've made to the future of Corpus Christi, and we look forward with so much anticipation to the beauty that you will bring to us, and we thank you on behalf of the city. Thank you very much.
It's now my pleasure to introduce my other boss, because I serve many hats as I work for the university and also work for the community through the nonprofit organization, the Corpus Christi Art Foundation. It is unique that this building is owned by the city, it's operated by the university, and all of its program funding comes from the private sector. And I think that this is an indication of how you make a community work when you want something bad enough, because it's all based on trust. Trust in the university, trust that the foundation will come through, and trust in the city. At this time, I'd like to introduce Kenton McDonald, who's chairman of the board of the Art Foundation and is in his first year, and we're looking forward to him serving to his second year. Kenton.
Thank you, Bill, and thank everyone for being here. About 35 years ago, a group of people in this city dreamed a big dream that today is the Art Museum of South Texas. It must have seemed a pretty radical idea at the time to build a Philip Johnson building here to exhibit works such as the Donald Judd box, MoMA by the Bay. But today, the Johnson building is an icon of our city, and the Judd box a piece of art history. A radical idea which has stood the test of time because it was the right dream. Today we stand here poised to see another big dream off on its way to reality, to connect not just figuratively, but very literally, the vision embodied in this museum to that of today's South Texas Institute for the Arts, with its expanded mission of being the hub of art education at all levels in our area, as well as for collecting, exhibiting, and recording the art of our region, including both the Hispanic and Western and wildlife components which it encompasses. And we propose to do that in a new building designed by Ricardo Legorreta, whose work represents, like Johnson's did, some of the best and most creative ideas modern architecture has to offer. Ideas which, while significantly are grounded in another and more global culture, are also very much a part of our unique corner of the world. And like the decision which came before it, it too should stand the test of time, because it too is the right dream. And if, like the Johnson building before it, it seems a little ahead of its time, isn't that what big dreams are supposed to be? Each of the many donors who have come forward to support the new building deserve and have our thanks and admiration. After all, the idea of giving away any significant amount of money for the public good is itself a pretty radical idea. But there are 4 people in particular who are deserving of recognition today: Bill and Maureen Miller, and John and Louise Chapman. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the 2 magnificent ladies who first recognized the importance of this project and who have sustained it to the point where today it is a near inevitability. Their commitment and perseverance has made all the difference between dream and reality. I give you Maureen Miller and Louise Chapman.
Bill and I are really excited about today, and I'm sure the Chapmans are as well. Today is a big step forward in this campaign. The South Texas Institute for the Arts will soon experience one of the most exciting architectural collaborations occurring in the United States today. Many of you know the building we stand in opened to the public 30 years ago. It was designed by one of America's most renowned architects, Philip Johnson. The Institute has commissioned another internationally renowned architect, Ricardo Legorreta, to build a new building next door to this one that is complementary in design and which will allow us to offer more exhibits and educational programs for children and adults of all ages, not only those living in Corpus Christi, but all of South Texas. In order to make such a unique and beautiful vision a reality, it takes people with vision and lasting commitment to our community and step forward and be counted. It is with pleasure that I present to you one of our community's leading businesses and community leaders, the H-E-B Grocery Company. I am delighted to announce that the company has given $500,000 to help make this new museum building a reality. In recognition of this donation, the South Institute for the Arts will name the auditorium in which we are sitting today in honor of the company. Debbie Lindsay Opal is here today representing H-E-B, and I would like to ask her to join us here so we can thank H-E-B and have a photograph taken with Ricardo Legorreta. Our thanks go again to H-E-B. And please wish us well as we work in the months ahead to conclude our fundraising and build this beautiful new museum.
I'd like to ask Debbie Lindsay Opal if she would come up and bring her two co-workers from the company just for a moment to make a comment.
Thank you, Bill. I think he recognizes I've never met a microphone I didn't like. I'd like to introduce Winnell Heron, who is our Group Vice President of Public Affairs and Diversity. She's joining us today from Houston. And I would also like to acknowledge Retha Harrell, who is our local Director of Customer Service for the South Texas region, and she is our board member here on the South Texas Institute for the Arts. So I'm in very good company today as well. I have to say that as I hear the comments, it certainly brings back the excitement that I felt when this opportunity was presented to me and to Charles Budd, our Chief Executive Officer. This is absolutely a transformation for our community. And what will come from this transformation is a whole new realm of possibilities that we didn't see before. And so we are just totally engaged in what's going to be happening here in the Corpus Christi area and what it means for all of South Texas. The leadership that we have here in our community is unsurpassed. And we are so fortunate to have the leadership of Dr. Ferguson and his team with Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Bill Otten and the team that he's put together here for the South Texas Institute for the Arts. As I look around this room and I see the faces that I recognize and the people that I know, I just feel honored to be among such talented, committed people. We've heard vision, we've heard experience, we've heard all the wonderful things that can come to bear. But when you stand in a room with folks such as yourself today, H-E-B is very honored to be in a position to help bring this project into reality. So thank you very much, and thanks very much for the acknowledgement.
Yesterday afternoon, I came down to the Art Museum because we were doing some final setups to make sure that today would be, the building would be clean and the flowers would be out and the food would be in all those kinds of things. But I met an artist yesterday that isn't on the agenda to be introduced, but I really do want to acknowledge this young person because it has to do with one of the key things that's going on in this museum. And that is, one of the goals I have is to help melt the border between Mexico and the and South Texas in particular. And one of the things that Carolyn Appleton, who's been doing a great job and has orchestrated this whole day, she's on the staff here at the museum, she came up with this idea about let's do a video that shows the community what the building's going to be like. And she contacted a Javier Huerta, who's going to be introduced again by former chairman and architect of design, architect of record, John Dykema. But it was such a magic moment yesterday when Javier and Ricardo Legorreta, and I don't say that in Mexican, I'm sorry, or in Spanish, but I would like to introduce these two guys to stand up because what you're going to see in a few minutes, these men created. And what was so special about this is that Ricardo is from Monterey and Javier is from Corpus Christi. And what it did is it just showed me the possibilities of what can happen when both sides of the border are working together as one. And you will see this in a few minutes. At this point, I'd like to introduce my former boss for a couple of years, the architect of record for this project, who has been working on this project much longer than he probably wants to, but has done a great job with it, and a colleague in architecture and a leader in the community, John Dykema. John.
Thank you, Bill. I'll keep my remarks fairly brief. As all of us know, trying to develop something in an urban environment is not the easiest thing to do. Recent experience has been a surprisingly thorough teacher of that. And you add to that the philanthropic nature of urban development, and it gets even more complicated. We began this project with a variety of ideas that weren't fine-tuned. We had imagined a seawall extending the current seawall all the way around to the port. We were imagining classrooms and theaters and all sorts of things, which would be the result of our merger with the Creative Arts Center and the Center for Hispanic Arts. And as with any development, time allows it to be massaged and fine-tuned. And that process for the museum involved 3 or 4 schemes. And everybody, not the least of which was our architect, had great patience through that process. And I think that that is really how things get done well. You can't sit down and just instantaneously come up with a perfect solution that solves all the problems. It takes work, it takes communication, it takes careful fundraising. It takes all of the above, and it's a delight for me, and as well as the many other people who've been involved with this project, to feel like we finally have got all of our ducks in a row. I think every cubic foot of the building is defensible. Every dollar that we need to raise is defensible. And I don't think there's a higher or better use for this piece of property than the addition that we have planned. And it's tremendously satisfying to be able to say that because it wasn't easy to get here. I would like to thank our colleagues who helped present the video that we're going to see in just a moment. If our stage crew up there can help us do that. And I would also like to thank, by the way, Dan Pedrati and Bernard Paulson for helping fund this presentation. So, camera, lights. technology. It's just great. I'd like to give a brief introduction for Ricardo, and then ask him to come up and say a few words and answer a few questions. Ricardo has been practicing architecture since 1948, and he opened his own firm in 1985. Get my glasses working here. He has taught in most of the important universities in Mexico, Canada, Spain, Japan, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Guatemala, Colombia, Costa Rica, England, Austria, France, and Israel. He has been a professor in the Universidad Nacional in Mexico, at Harvard University, and at our own University of Texas at Austin. He is an honorary fellow of the Mexican Society of Architects, the American Society of Architects, the International Academy of Architecture in Bulgaria, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, centered in Cambridge, the Académie d'Architecture in France, the Royal Architecture Institute of Canada, and the Royal Institute of British Architects. He's been around. And it's safe to say he's been appreciated in all those places. His awards go on for several pages. I don't know which ones he's most proud of. They all look pretty good, including the gold medal from the American Institute of Architects, and a variety of others around the world. He is associated with the Getty Museum, with the Jerusalem's International Committee in Israel, and is on the Board of Overseers at Harvard University. I think the thing that distinguishes Ricardo, in addition to his design expertise and great sensitivity, is his devotion to his craft and his devotion to his clients, which is why I think we are so fortunate to have him help us. Please help me welcome Ricardo Legorreta.
Good morning. I would like to add a comment. Any coincidence, any similarity between what John said and reality is pure coincidence. I want to tell you I'm deeply touched to be here. Several reasons. To receive the keys of a city makes you a citizen. And to be a citizen brings together tremendous responsibilities. Also, to see you all devoted to build this building, the love demonstrated by you raising funds and all that instead of playing golf or laying on the beach really is very touchy and also brings, again, more responsibility. And in a time of architecture as today, makes it even more difficult. Why do I say that? I think architecture at this moment is going to a touchy period, we could say. Architecture has become fashion, and that's extremely dangerous because fashion can go with clothes. Tomorrow we can throw out what we have on today. We can change our car. We can change. But the buildings, they stay there. And we architects, when we truly realize the effort that means to do a building for the client, we don't have the right to play games or to say, I'm going to build a monument to myself. I'm going to build something new so people look at it. And that's the fashion today. The fashion that involves not only architects, involves the society, involves clients, involves developers. And through that, even thought we are building a certain number of good buildings, we are hurting our cities, which is the most important thing we have. And I always invite to make an exercise. If you put together the 10 best buildings, so-called 10 best buildings of the last year, you will build the most horrible street you can imagine. It's very important. When I came many, many years ago to Corpus to visit Philip Johnson building, I was very impressed by the building. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of his best projects. And then when I was asked to add to it, and as Bill said, it was assigned not to be expanded. So it was quite a challenge, and a very delicate challenge. I will go a step forward and come back. When we had the final design, I decided to go and see Philip and show the design to him. And there's a very personal story which I want to share with you. I went to New York and just to see him. I asked for an appointment. And he's 98. And I arrived to his office. He was, as always, perfectly dressed. He was standing waiting for me. And I said, Philip, I come here to present to you the expansion of the Corpus Museum. And so I want you to take a look at it. If you don't like it, I will go back to Corpus and ask them that we should change it. Quite risky with a personality like Philip Johnson. So he looked at it. And the first thing he said, he stood up and he said, first of all, I want to thank you for being ethic. He said, it's not anymore something that happens between architects. So first of all, that. Second, I like it very much. Go ahead, because you respect the scale, and you did a good addition to it. Not always you have that support when you do a project. And that helped me very much to have somebody like Philip Johnson supporting a project. Then you feel that you're more or less doing something good. You never know. John mentioned technology. We went through the building. We will not know how good it is until it's built. That's one of the dangers of architecture. We make models, we make films, we do everything. But that moment of truth, when you raise the walls and put the roof on it, that's the moment to it. I want to insist that I'm here with the microphone and receive the keys, but it's not my work. It's a teamwork. First of all, on the Mexican side, we were talking about doing projects and activities together. I have the blessing of working with my son. He couldn't be here. He's putting the last bricks on the Latino Center in Dallas because of the dedication tomorrow. And we are a team. Victor, my son, Miguel Almaraz, Carlos Vargas, all the team work together. Somebody has to face the public, and that's me. But I want to tell you a story that was told by my partner for 40 years. You will never hear his name. Nobody knows him. He doesn't want to be known. His name is Noé Castro. And he never wants to appear, ever. But every year we go out, sometime in December, to have some tequilas and talk about the city, the office. And last year he said, Ricardo, I'm getting worried about you. And I said, what for? Don't you see me okay, or what is it? He said, no, you're becoming famous. He said, and that's not good, he said. Because, well, you go out, you give lectures, you are always there. But you don't do what you like, and I do what I like, he said. I love my work, I do it, and there you are running up and down. I know you enjoy it. I know you represent us, but I prefer my work. And so that's a teamwork. He's like my conscience, Victor. We worked together in all the designs. Carlos Vargas did a wonderful job here. On the Texas side, as a matter of fact, there is no side. Bill and John and all of you have helped us with common criticisms and all that. Bill mentioned that John mentioned that it has taken a lot of time. Again, another anecdote. There was a doctor who was very close friend to his architect. So he said to him, finally we raised the money, we're going to do our house. Ah, that's good, said the architect. But we don't make any changes. We will not make any changes. We know what we want. There will be no changes during the process. Only one condition. And the architect said, what condition is it? We want the house in 6 months. And the architect said, yes, no problem. Really? No problem. Only one condition. I said, what condition is? I'm going with my wife for the weekend to Acapulco, and I want to have a baby in 6 months. and the doctor said, that's impossible. Your house is also impossible. So that's the case of this. We may be desperate for moments for not going faster because we want to see the building. But that has helped a lot to mature, to discuss, to work together. And to end up with a relation that to me is the most important. The most important part in a project is the client, is not the architect. If you ask me if I had to choose between one of the two, I would select the client. We all admire what we call the architecture without architects. When we go to the Italian town villages, we go to the pueblos in Mexico, and we see how magnificent they are. And they are done by people who are not called architects. They are clients. So in this case, I think that we had the great gift of having a wonderful client. And we ended up, through the time, not being the museum director, not being the, architect of record. We ended up being friends. And after today, I hope we are all end up being friends to build this building. And we will put all our effort, because there's a note on the film, which I suppose you have built some buildings before, that says some changes may take place. So we will keep working on it. There is a lot of work to do, not only of raising funds, but selecting the contractor, building, getting together, solving the problems. You cannot have a building completely designed in drawings. It's one of the differences you find in the culture between the U.S. and Mexico. In the U.S., we are pressed to have everything decided before we start. And I understand that. On the other hand, there are things that you decide at the last moment. I will tell you the typical thing is color. Color is very difficult to decide it. And sometimes they ask us, you have to decide the color of all the walls because red is more expensive than white, so we have to ask for the bid, etc. But we will put all the effort. I can promise that we will not have any excuses for what is wrong. I hope that we don't do too many mistakes. We all make mistakes. The only one that doesn't make mistakes are the people who do nothing, which is the worst mistake you can do in your life. So we will do all our effort to respond to your devotion to this museum, to respond to the collaboration between the community and the museum, and also to respond to the collaboration between the U.S. and Mexico. We have all kinds of official problems between the U.S. and Mexico, but all of them are in our government. I have never had a problem with an individual in the United States or with a group. And this is the case. Not only I haven't had any problem, I have received a lot from all of you. So I promise all our effort, and thank you very much. Please, any questions or comments you have, please feel free to do them. And between John and myself, we will try to answer them.
It struck me watching the video that you and Philip Johnson are going to be in dialogue until the end of time with your two buildings situated so close to one another. And I wonder what your response is to that. I mean, it's a wonderful feeling that's come to me today, and I wonder how that has impacted you, obviously designing it, you met with him, and how you hope that plays out.
It has impacted me very much because there is one theory about design in which they say that you have to design a building which is supposed to be a piece of art and it should be untouchable. I don't believe on that. I think like human beings, we have to change. We have to be modified. We cannot be like we were when we were kids. We can't ride bicycles anymore. We have to change and adapt to life. And it's the same with buildings, it's the same with cities. We go and study the monuments of our time, and you find out that buildings from the 16th century or 17th century have been modified substantially. And we say, well, this architect was a genius, and you find out that it was a modification, and nobody knew who did it. This tendency of building these untouchable buildings have hurt our cities. I think the most important thing is to improve our cities, as I said before. Now, to have the opportunity of a collaboration or a conversation, because even it didn't took place physically, it took place when we were designing, between Philip Johnson and myself, it's an honor. It's an honor not only because he's a great architect, but it's an honor to be able to have a conversation with a wonderful building. So it impacted me very much, and realize that as any activity in our life, collaboration is the basis on it. I think we have to forget about the individuals. We have to really seriously, and that's not easy for architects because we are educated as in an ego basis, which is very negative. We have to learn to have that dialogue. And if you have the opportunity of having that dialogue with Philip Johnson, I think you're very lucky. Okay, thank you.
This brings to an end our program, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. I want to thank where are the Chapmans? There they are. Louise and Bill and Maureen, Debbie, HEB, Dr. Ferguson, John. There's other wonderful gifts to be announced in the near future for this campaign. I think we started with a vision. It was an uncompromised vision. We started with a world architect, and I think we will end up with a world building for Corpus Christi. I thank you all for coming, and I hope that you'll help us as we move forward with this campaign to make this building a reality in the next couple of years. Thank you so much.